Oh
It's
shit!
crazy. Yeah.
Shit is crazy.
Tim, welcome.
Hi, Tim.
Hi. What do you mean welcome?
We were just a
Hi,
little
we've
early.
been live on Facebook for like the past minute because my music automatically started.
Oh,
So
we were live here like for the last I don't know. We went live a minute ago.
here a
Just play
minute.
the intro.
Oh, you know
I'm a
what?
Tim,
whole
you
minute
need to
late.
stop
Go.
deafening. We got to find a different method so we can all be on the same page.
Method Man.
Guy.
But we're all here now.
All right. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna skip what we've been playing this week because I'm pretty sure everybody knows. Other than Justin,
I played Cyberpunk.
you did. You did, right, but you actually played something
Sea of
else.
Thieves.
Yeah,
Other than Tim and I,
more than
you
just
played something
Cyberpunk.
else. Yeah.
I do have a different game that is now my bedtime game that I play on my Kishi.
Oh,
Yeah. So like, if I'm laying in bed, I don't want to try and play Cyberpunk. I don't want to try and stream it on Steam because that's just not it's not doing it justice. But I did start playing Fallen Order that way, and I was enjoying that.
another
Play
Souls
as-
game. There you go.
I
Yeah.
I really want to play Fallen Order on my Series X. I had it installed at one point, but I just never got to it because I was playing Assassin's Creed and stuff. And now I have
Mhm.
Cyberpunk, so it's just like
There's always
It's like,
something
why
else.
bother?
it's just gonna stay on the back burner for a little longer.
There's always a bigger game.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. Even though that game was apparently really good.
I thought it
I
was
love it
alright.
when Justin throws out a movie reference and Cody just skips over it, and then I have to
Because-
call it out. I have
Because
to call it out.
I don't remember movies like that. Like I
Bro.
just don't. I never have ever.
It's a Phantom Menace reference. Also, hi John.
Bro,
John,
do you
my
want to know the
boy.
last time I watched Phantom Menace? I was probably like 10.
Da-da,
Where's my
da,
chat?
da, da.
When
that
the hell
gonna
did
get us
Phantom
to
Menace come out? Wasn't it 2000?
2001.
Yeah,
Think
something like
so.
that. And that's probably the last time I watched it.
I think of the prequels, Phantom Menace is the best one.
Well, yeah,
Because
because it's
Darth
got
Maul.
that bad. Yeah, it's got
The
that
fucking
badass
lightsaber fight
beat.
is so good. Oh, and Qui-Gon's in there, like, wow. Way to be
1999.
the best Jedi. 99.
Yeah, I thought it was
2000.
19
21 years ago.
19 May 1999. Yeah,
Bro,
so I was
Phantom Menace
fucking
can
9.
drink.
Or wait, no, I just turned. I
Crazy.
would have just turned 10, 9 or 10, something like
so
that.
old. It's fine.
Yeah,
All right, we don't have
So-
time to dawdle. We have so many things to talk about.
I know,
Oh my
I know.
We
God.
do.
All right, so hey, we're gonna kind of blow through these first two, right?
Yeah.
First one being Square Enix, new game gets 24-month exclusivity on PlayStation 5. I'm just gonna say I don't even know what the game is. It's an unannounced game, I'm pretty sure, right?
It's Project something or other. Project
Right.
Athia. They didn't show much about it.
Right. So, okay, so it's not unannounced, but nobody knows what the fuck it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. It's still coming out on PC. So why? This is literally just keeping it away from Xbox. That's all it's about. Right? And so this is at the end of the day, this is why I just cannot fathom why people believe that Bethesda games, first party titles, are gonna eventually come to PlayStation 5 when Sony continues to do this kind of stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me. Elder
Because
Scrolls, Fallout, all those, they're not gonna be on PlayStation. They're not.
just because
It's
Sony's
not gonna
fucking
happen.
out doesn't mean that
I don't think it's
Xbox will.
I don't think it's fucking up. I think it's just the lay of the land.
I disagree because you make more money when you sell more games. You sell more games when you sell them on more platforms.
Xbox is selling on literally every platform but PlayStation.
They are selling on PlayStation as well.
Well, for the things that they
yeah.
kept, right? But those were not deals that they negotiated.
No, but my point is like I don't think that you're going to suddenly see all of these games get completely locked out of PlayStation. I just don't.
We'll
Why
see.
not? I just don't get it. You do remember that Sony was trying to have Starfield exclusively on PlayStation, right? Like that was the thing that happened. They were trying to do a 12-month deal for Starfield.
I did not.
So, did you die?
What? No.
What are you doing? I see you. You're very confused.
Hey, what up, Welcome back. We're not
sh-
playing Five Nights. We'll probably play
stream-
Phasmophobia later, though.
Yeah,
stream
probably
is-
be
is
Phasmophobia.
Being weird.
Is it?
Yeah, so I mean, all I have to say about this is their PlayStation goes being
Right?
anti-consumer.
Right? I agree with this.
Phil Spencer's
I do
over
agree
here
with
like death to video game tribalism. Sony's like, yo, come over here and we will protect you so they can't hurt you.
it.
Let's make a tribe.
I do find it interesting that obviously Linus Tech Tips, right, came out and said he was just like he thinks that Sony's way of doing things is like a dying breed at this point
Mm-hmm.
with the exclusivity and thing, which I do agree with, right? I do agree with that, but I just don't. As long as Sony continues to do this, it's just going to reinforce my belief that Xbox is going to take their first party studio games and make them exclusive to their platforms, or
I
at
don't know,
least at
man.
the very least a timed release.
I
I
think
can
timed
see it. I
releases
can
are
see
likely.
timed release. That's more likely.
But
I
a
just
but
don't
but a
think
20 okay, so let's say Fallout 6 comes out. Or no, Fallout 5. Tim, now you got me
Yeah,
doing
right.
got it.
it. Yeah. Let's say Fallout 5 comes out and it's got a 2-year exclusivity deal. Like,
Uh-huh.
what's the difference in just making it exclusive?
Right? Who's
Like, 2
gonna
years down the
who's
road? Like, who
who's
the fuck
excited
cares?
about that anymore?
Right. Like, no, like that's why it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
But we're
I
gonna
feel
jump
that.
onto something else, right? We're just gonna move right along here.
Yeah,
Sony, speaking of Sony, owns all anime now.
they've done
All
it.
ways you watch anime.
They freaking did it.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a good thing
I mean,
at
you
all.
know, monopolies are bad.
Right, in
So
general.
Sony buying even more of the anime market share is kind of worrisome, naturally.
Well, I guess I don't even know where else I can watch anime now that isn't owned
Funimation,
in Sony. But
Crunchyroll.
Funimation's owned by Sony.
Yeah, that's all
Crunchyroll's
that
owned
comes
by
to mind.
Sony, right? So, but you have your other things like High Dive and stuff. That's on Verve, but Verve is owned by Crunchyroll.
Which is open.
So,
Right.
which is now owned by Sony. So yeah, so it's
Yeah.
just kind of like I don't like Sony doesn't own High Dive. High Dive is still technically its own entity, but for somebody like myself in North America, because Verve isn't available anywhere else,
Hmm.
um, like that's I mean I'm just under the Sony umbrella, and Sony has not been great when it comes to censorship and stuff recently, right? There was a thing last year with like video games. There was a conversation being had about that with their censorship in video games. There's apparently been a lot of censorship from them on Funimation.
Mm.
So also this could spell the end of Verve, honestly, which would be a
Yeah.
terrible thing for me because I use the shit out of Verve. I use it every month. It's one of the best things I spend $10 a month on.
You're gonna
So
have to quit anime.
nope, won't do that. I'll just have my dad. I'll just have my dad pirate everything, and he can just learn about all the weird shit that I watch.
Perfect.
So, all right, sir. I'm gonna kick this to Justin because he actually watched the whole Game Awards show, and I only caught the back end of it. So,
All right, so the Game Awards happened. I was there for it all, even the lame pre-show.
what was the pre-show?
So the first thing I was thinking, yeah, the pre-show is just like they do a bunch of dumb stuff.
Oh, okay.
They have
true,
some
they
like
wrote a bunch of
reveals, and it's just the show but earlier.
Right.
So what I was thinking is I just kind of run down some of the awards and see what you guys think about who won what.
Okay. Yeah, that
Alright.
makes sense.
So we'll just start at the top. Game of the Year, The Last of Us 2. What do you think? A lot of divisive opinions
I'll
on
let
this.
Tim go first.
I think that's very much there's a reason it won that. Gaming journalists and critics obviously loved it. It's not that it's a bad game, but man, I just like I don't have a PlayStation, so I have not experienced playing through The Last of Us 2. So grain of salt with my opinion because I have not actually played this game. And I haven't played the game that I would have given it to, but I would have given it to Ghost of Tsushima. I've had to consume both through live streams and YouTube videos, and while I have intentionally not watched all of Ghost of Tsushima because that's a game that someday I would like to fucking play, I don't see myself when I eventually get a PlayStation playing The Last of Us. It's not that they're not good games, but I've already like watched all of it, experienced all of that through playthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have given it to Ghost because I just think that it did more. Like there were other things that it felt like the Last of Us was just like getting too many fucking awards last night. Like, it was also the
Oh, yeah.
action adventure game of the year. It also won best soundtrack, which
Oh, yeah,
I'm like,
we'll
how do you not give that to Doom or Ghost?
they didn't win best soundtrack.
Didn't
Yeah,
they? Or
so
maybe it was
no.
best audio production or something like that. They won
Yeah.
some audio award.
Yeah.
But like even so, I was
We'll
like,
get
how
to
does
it.
that not go to Doom? Oh yeah, no, Final Fantasy VII Remake got best soundtrack. That's right. I do remember that now.
I still think
But
that's bullshit too, but yeah.
We'll
yeah,
get to
because
it.
it's a remake of another soundtrack.
Cody, what do you
There
think?
were
I'm
yeah,
cutting you off, Tim.
that's fine.
There's too much. Hey, yeah, Ghost should have won it. All right, look, you had, and I looked this up earlier just so I could quote it correctly or whatever. But you had the studio director or whatever of Yakuza come out and say directly, Japan should have made this game. This game was well received in a different country that it was trying to emulate. Like normally when you make something about somebody else's culture, there's normally some wacky shit in it. You know what I mean? Some
Mhm.
movieisms and stuff like that. No, everybody in Japan was like, this game is fucking awesome. It does great with our past culture. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't get it. Look, but I also said, and I put this on the Olib Twitter, that when I finished Ghost of Tsushima, it may have been the best game I've ever played. Like hands down, when it comes all around, when you take in every aspect, it's beautiful. The combat is amazing. It is hands down some of the best combat I've ever played. The music's great, making haikus. I don't know. You can go on and on about Ghosts. And I just feel like The Last of Us is The Last of Us 2. Once again, haven't played that either. I'm waiting for the bundle to come out on that because I haven't played The Last of Us 1 either.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just gonna get the bundle and whenever that comes out, and I'll just play them both at the same time, kind of thing. Because I don't doubt that both of them are great games, especially the first one, because it did win Game of the Year as well.
Yep.
But I don't. There is nothing that I don't think there's anything that The Last of Us 2 could have done to top Ghost of Tsushima for me. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm inclined to agree. I voted Ghost of Tsushima. I haven't played The Last of Us 2 because The Last of Us 1 had a great ending, and I did not care anymore. So, next one, game direction, boring, moving on. Most anticipated game went to, can you guess? Tim, you can guess.
I actually read these earlier, so what do you think it is,
I
Tim?
can't guess. Go ahead and tell me.
Elden Ring.
Yep.
Which, of course, we didn't get any actual news about. So tragic. And you know what, honestly?
Again.
All of the titles they had on here were like, I'm excited about. Halo Infinite,
Right.
Horizon Forbidden West, a God of War sequel, Resident Evil Village, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. But Elden Ring blows them all away, bro. Oh my god.
So here, I think here's the thing I think is funny about Elden Ring. You've had just as much news about it as George R.R. Martin's latest book.
Oof.
Yeah, that's true. You know what?
Brutal.
Elden Ring, we know it exists though because Phil Spencer says he played it. He said he played a demo.
That's true. He did say
He did
that he did
say
play
those
it.
words.
So we know it exists,
Right?
but that's all we know.
We know
we
it
got-
That
exists.
George R.R. Martin's making exists too. We know that. It's never gonna come out.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's ironic that you bring that up.
Oh,
I
look
got
at
my-
you.
Just sitting there. I was wearing that
No,
earlier.
man. Yeah.
All right, next one, narrative, skip. Art direction. Art direction went to Ghost of Tsushima. That is one of two awards
I would've
Tsushima
been-
won.
I would have been flipping tables if that game's absolutely gorgeous.
Fucking
Even though I will say-
stunning.
Even though I will say, when I first booted it up again after playing my Series X for a month so I could finish it,
Mhm.
the 30 FPS was super noticeable.
Ooh.
Like the game looked bad at first because I booted it up and I was in like the snowy portion of the game,
Mhm.
and look, you could see the snow like chugging across the
Yep.
screen, and I was like, "Oh god!"
It's
Like,
shocking.
I didn't realize. Yeah, it was. And then I started playing again, and I was like, "Oh no, this game's still beautiful. Never mind."
Yeah,
Fucking, that
was
secondary specifically is fucking.
a jump of
Oh,
30
man.
FPS like that is honestly like
Right.
it feels bad being that low.
Yeah, I was like, "Ugh." Yeah. Anyways,
So that one was the done deal. The other one that they won was, of course, the People's Voice Award. So the popular vote went to Ghost of Tsushima for Game of the Year. Score and music, Final Fantasy VII Remake won that one, which I was very happy about because they went back. Not only did they redo all these beautiful old songs from the game and do them fresh in the studio, they also brought back how do I pronounce his name? Nubo Umetsu, the Final Fantasy guy who does the music, to collab with them on new tracks for the game as well. So it was a beautiful mix of new and old, paying homage to the original. It beat out Doom Eternal, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us 2.
Maybe it's just because I'm a metal fan. Maybe it's just because I'm a
Right,
Doom
that's
fan.
actually
I
that's
don't
what I was
understand why Doom didn't win. That's
I was listening to Doom soundtrack while running earlier. Like, it's such a good fucking it's
It's very
great.
good.
it goes so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, I listen to it when I play Call of Duty. Like, it's just it's so good. It's so good for that genre. Anyways,
I'm gonna do a straight melee playthrough of Cyberpunk where I just listen to
Oh
Doom
my
the whole
god.
time.
every time somebody tries to say something, you beat them with a hammer.
Perfect. Audio design, skip, performance. Yeah, I think most of the rest of these are not that interesting. Ongoing game. This word I thought was interesting. This went to No Man's Sky. The other options were Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, and Fortnite. And this award, let me see here.
I think it's really surprising it beat out Fortnite.
I think no, it's not, because again, these aren't being picked by gamers
Players.
in general. These aren't being
Right.
picked by all the 12-year-olds that play Fortnite.
It's much more critical.
Well, the reason why the reason I say that is just because like they've held live concerts in Fortnite. You've got the mashups, like they're doing
They do a lot of
Galactica
cool things in
Galactus or
Fortnite. Like
whatever,
I give
you know,
Fortnite
like
shit, but they do a lot of cool shit.
I would say, yeah,
They do.
Fortnite is actually, like, if there is an award that was like most innovative ongoing game, I might give that to Fortnite because they really push the boundaries on what you can do in a game like that.
like, oh, pandemic, we still have concerts.
Right.
Like fuck it. Like,
There are a few categories like this one that I was shocked that I didn't see like Rainbow Six Siege or Sea of Thieves on there, because Siege is like 5 years old now and they're still constantly putting updates out there. And Sea of Thieves also is doing monthly updates. This is actually the last month of their monthly updates. They're moving to a season model starting in January. What else? Hades won a few things. Indie game, a few other things. I haven't played it. Looks beautiful. I'm sure it deserves it. Our boy Phasmophobia won debut indie game. Love that.
thank God. I'm glad it won. Yeah, they had two different categories. They had
Yeah.
indie and then they had the debut indie. But it's
Yeah.
funny because Hades technically, so I bought it early access earlier this year. So technically it didn't debut until 1.0. So I was a little bit I found that
I
a little
believe-
interesting.
Debut indie game means it's an indie studio's first game that they've released.
Right. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I
So
was
this
thi- I
is
was thinking
Phasmophobia.
debut.
It's their first game.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was up
Well,
against.
it's there, isn't it? One person.
We
for
think so.
Phasmophobia?
I don't
know
think
if it's
so.
known. But it was up
Maybe.
against Carry On, Mortal Shell, Raji and Epic, an Ancient Epic, and Roki. I've heard of some of
I don't even
those.
know. I'm actually surprised it won over Carrion because Carrion was like,
Carry On was really cool.
yeah, it was in Game of the Year discussion for
Mm.
some folks. So
Next one, this was interesting to me. Mobile game. Among Us was the winner for mobile game. How are you gonna have a game that is crossplay in the mobile game category? I feel like that's
Because
weird.
You
They
can
had
play it on
Genshin
your
in there.
phone.
You can play
Genshin.
Xbox games on your phone.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like Among Us is like an actual true touchscreen
Yeah,
mobile
yeah,
game.
yeah.
It's not like you're not emulating a gamepad to play it on your
Right.
phone.
It was up there with Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix.
I'm just happy they won it.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, they I think Among Us, they won something else that I might have skipped over. A lot of people were like, "Why did they win? That game came out years ago." Because the Game Awards isn't about games that just came out within the last year.
Right.
in general.
That's like otherwise fucking No Man's Sky wouldn't win that.
Yeah.
I will say, just for anyone who is listening to this back later and goes, why does he keep skipping all these or calling them boring? Most of the ones that just is like, that's boring, were won by The Last of Us 2, by the way.
Yeah.
Because last night's Game Awards was really just like in a lot of ways, it felt like it's just a celebration of The Last of Us 2, which that's fine. That's cool. It's weird. gaming journalists. You can tell we're not gaming journalists, even though we have a gaming podcast and run a gaming website where we write articles about games sometimes, or at least one of us
Listen,
does.
send us the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, very different opinions between the people who cover games for a living and the people who play games for fun.
Truer words have never been spoken. They probably have, but whatever. Fuck it. Anyways,
All right, what else? This one I thought was interesting. Community support. Fallout guys won this award, and this was for recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates / patches. What do you think about that?
I do find it interesting you called it Fallout, guys.
Oh God, my bad.
Gentlemen, you had my curiosity.
That's gonna be the next mashup.
It's because of how good they are with their Twitter. That's really
literally
all that is
it.
to me. Like they're
Well,
they're super good about Twitter. They made the whole dead game thing into a giant meme when it was already a little memey.
They
yeah.
also did the charity thing to start,
Mhm.
like when they first got popular. They're also doing a thing now where they've given creators. I don't know if you guys saw Elena Pierce tweeting about this,
Mhm.
but private lobbies, right? They've limited it to a
Oh,
certain amount of people, but they've put it out to some major creators, and they're like, "Hey, host your own private games, this, that, and the other thing with your friends and whatnot to make content."
that's cool.
Which I actually think is a great move, right? Because it just ends up being free advertising, right?
That's the
and
kind
they
of
can
thing
kinda-
that I hope they roll out to the entire player base over time. Sea of Thieves is doing the same thing. You can have private Sea of Thieves servers if you're like a certain level of content creator with them.
Right.
As long as they don't do the Fallout 76 thing.
Be a bad
You
game.
want
I mean,
you
yeah,
want a
nobody
you
should
want
do
a
the
private
Fallout
server?
76 thing.
Give me an annual subscription.
Oh,
my
sure.
God. To give Fallout 76 some credit, I've heard that their past couple updates have been decent.
They've been really good. The Brotherhood of Steel update's really cool. I've only checked it out a little bit. And I checked it out on my Xbox, but every time I get back into it, I'm like, I like it. But I'm also me, so it's fine.
He's the Fallout boy.
I don't have a Fallout wallet. It's fine.
What?
The next thing,
Anyways.
action adventure game went to The Last of Us 2. I just wanted to say that action adventure is too generic of a genre to give someone an award for.
Because it's
I
like
can agree
most
with
games. It's pretty much every.
So many games fall under that category.
Right.
Here was the let me bring up the other games. Last of Us 2, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Which it's like you could have thrown Doom in there. It's
It could be
technically
in
an
there.
action game.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised Valhalla's in there.
Because it came out
Valhalla
a month ago.
Nope, not even that. Valhalla, as much as I liked it, is not in any way any way, shape, or form an award winner or even a contender for any of these categories. Not a single one. Like, I like that game. Don't get me wrong. I have a good time with it, but it's not. It's not.
You like it,
It's
but you wouldn't award it.
I wouldn't give it any awards, really. Like, the only thing I can maybe
Best
think of-
Viking game.
right? Like, it's that, or you could make an argument for me that the music is really good. It's very, very like on point. It fits the mood and everything in that game really well.
I'm kind of surprised they
that's
don't just have like a best open world game as a category.
I think
Why do that if you can just have action adventure?
I think the problem is they don't want to start opening it up too much in the genres, right? Because otherwise you're going to start having to have one for like best shooter, best platformer, best blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
maybe
just not
that's
too
the
much.
reason that they keep
Right.
action adventure, so there's
Right.
less. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think the reason why not, Tim, is because they're still trying to fit it on a show format. So they
Yeah.
don't want an 8-hour show, right? You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can think
I
of.
get it, but I don't think that there are that many genres that you need to have. You could do best RPG, best
you been
strategy
on
game,
Steam?
best shooter. Yeah, you don't have to do every single category on Steam. You can do
Right,
best
but I
strategy
think
game, best shooter, best RPG, best fucking platformer. Like you can do like the main categories of games. You don't have to go from best shooter. All right. Well, what about a BR versus
Right.
Call of Duty? What about
I-
that? Like, you don't
but I
have to
think-
get that deep with it.
Mhm.
I think it opens up that conversation. I think that's what they're trying to avoid.
Sure.
It does.
That's
but
fair.
It's not my show. That's fine.
Next thing,
Yeah.
Tim, you're gonna
Our
love
own
this.
awards next year.
Fighting game went to Mortal Kombat 11.
It should have.
Their competition didn't look that fierce. I wasn't familiar
Wait,
with some of the titles, but
Mortal Kombat
nothing
11?
big was there to compete. Ultimate, to be clear.
Ultimate. Yeah. So
Oh,
Mortal
okay.
Kombat 11 Ultimate just came out this year, and if you buy
I was about to
Ultimate,
say,
no, if you buy Ultimate, it essentially you get both both combat packs and the Aftermath expansion.
do you have 200 hours in that game yet?
No, I haven't played it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but you had 100 hours in it in like a week and a half.
I did. It's probably peaked at it's probably stuck at 137. 137.
All
I
right,
haven't played it.
this one bugged me. They mix simulation and strategy games into one category. So
I hated this.
this is so stupid. Okay. Microsoft Flight Simulator, Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, and XCOM Chimera Squad. This is even worse than the action adventure thing. How are these
It's so
games
much
in the same
worse.
category?
Yeah.
Like,
Microsoft Flight Sim won, by the way.
Four of those 5 games legitimately should compete for best strategy game of the year. I
Yes.
completely agree with that. Flight Sim?
No,
Why is
that
this
one's
competing
wor-
with
I
those?
think-
That's
I think-
so
I
different.
think the problem is name any other simulation game that actually came out this year.
It doesn't have to come out this year. It just has to be a big deal this year.
Wasn't there a racing sim that came out this year as well? Was it Corsetta or something?
Do not know.
There hasn't been any major sim games that have come out. Your Forza, your Gran Turismo, all the your major ones, none of them had a release this year. You've
Mhm.
had Horizon, but that came out last year, right? So
Okay.
I know we said earlier it's not all supposed to encompass this year, but
Yeah.
the simulation category by itself isn't that large as is, so I can understand why they're trying to combine it with something. Strategy, I don't know about that one.
No,
like,
it's not a strategy game.
fuck all those
They-
other games. Crusader
Microsoft
Kings,
even
right?
Yes,
their
yes.
flight sim shit, it originally wasn't a fucking game. It was literally made to help, you can literally use that to train fucking pilots.
Yep. No, I know.
Yeah.
But I think that's the struggle that they find there. So
Yeah,
So don't give it an award.
I would say
Fine.
that Microsoft Flight Sim is very innovative the way it uses the Azure servers or whatever, the Azure cloud and satellite data to stream what's going on in the game. That's really cool. But to say it's the best sim strategy game, that's just wacky.
it's probably the best simulation game on the market, hands down. I don't know if anything's gonna beat it. Even
It's
your normal
impressive.
racing sims and stuff like that, they're not.
I
I can't learn to be a racer playing Gran Turismo.
Right.
Probably. You know what I mean?
We already did that one, Ben. Ben says get to best indie debut or
Phasmophobia.
debut indie game.
Phasmophobia.
We did that one.
We did do that one, Ben.
We loved it.
Ghost
Um,
of Goose won it.
Sports/racing game. I feel like this is less bad than putting sim and strategy together, but let me just lay out the competitors and tell me if one stands out to you. Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Tony Hawk.
There's
Tony Hawk
skateboarding's
won.
a sports game.
Tony Hawk did win.
Yes.
Yes!
That
Yes.
also, I'm just talking about it. That's where Flight Sim should have gone. Because
I feel like it's more of a racing game than a strategy game.
Well, I guess you could make that argument because there's a
Especially- and-
simulation.
Sports.
I completely forgot
simulation
F1
mode.
did come out this year. We're like, oh, what racing sims came? F1, Dirt 5. I mean, Dirt 5's less of a racing sim and more just a racing game, but F1's definitely you use a fucking wheel for that shit.
Right.
Otherwise, you're a scrub, right? That's the way that community is. So.
That is where Microsoft Flight Sim should have gone.
Definitely. So yeah, when I looked at this, I just said for sportsy games or Tony Hawk.
Game fucking won though.
Bro,
It's just a remake.
It's so
of a
good.
20-year-old game.
they did a great job.
Listen, you can do so many things with remakes of 20-year-old games. Just throw RTX on that bitch, and you go get Game of the Year. There you go.
That's true.
Boom.
That's true.
Um, the other thing, I just noted that all of the esports related things were just League of Legends. League of Legends just won all the esports stuff, and it kind of bothered me because I didn't feel like the category was like well represented. Esports just seemed to be MOBAs and
CS:GO.
yeah. Just
Well, to be fair,
very
the big
narrow
esports
focus.
titles, like the ones that get broadcast all the time, are now Valorant, CS:GO, and then MOBAs. Those are really like the big ones. Like Quake Champions tried to be that didn't go fucking
No.
anywhere. Siege, yeah, Siege is one. I
Hey,
that's true. Were they
Siege
up
is
for anything? Siege
always
up for anything?
Siege was nothing. It wasn't even at the show. Which there's
Oh,
so many
wow.
categories that I think it
hey,
should have
why
been
isn't
represented
Pokemon in
in.
this shit? I was watching the Pokemon fucking championships recently.
Honestly, I feel like there are a lot
I'm
of
not even
categories.
joking. I was watching it the other day.
I believe it. I believe it. I actually watched a bunch of competitive Valorant and CS:GO this last weekend, and I don't watch a lot of those. And it was like some of it was like really fucking intense. Like I
Mhm.
watched it was I think it was Mouse Sports and no, it wasn't Mouse Sports. It was TSM and I want to say maybe it was Mouse Sports. I don't remember. They went to like triple fucking overtime, and it was like the
Yo.
first time I had watched CS in goddamn years, and it was epic as shit. It was so good.
Love that.
Yeah, some of the esports. Speaking of the Space Force team
Oh yeah.
that was going on, they're in
The
like
Call of
some
Duty
fucking,
one?
they're in some fucking bowl.
Oh, wow.
Some like
Nice.
bowl match or whatever. I was like, what the hell? Like I got the Discord here. I can hold on. I can pull up the Discord. Oh wait, no, I can't. Not on my computer. I'll fuck up the cams.
Ooh.
I just wish R6 Continuum would come back. Continuum R6 for life.
What is that?
That was an esports team that was owned by a couple of dudes that I actually like kind of know a little bit, and they won
Oh.
like a world championship.
yeah. So
Nice.
Space Force is in the CODE bowl finals.
Code,
they
like
won.
Code Red.
Hey, wait, Space Force won something?
Yeah, they actually won.
That's awesome. They're gonna
So,
serve us well up
it
there.
It came out today that at 3:20 that they were in it, and then at 4:30 it came out that they won.
Nice. That's our
pretty cool.
boys.
Anyway,
I was gonna make a joke, but it was too political, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
all right. You got anything else for us?
That's
Justin?
all. That's all the awards. That's all the awards.
Okay.
Stuff.
All right, we need to jump on the meat and potatoes because we already killed a half hour. Not saying that the Game Awards aren't meat and potatoes, but you know what? This was probably the wrong weekend for them to hold the Game Awards. Because fucking Cyberpunk came out. All right, nobody gives a shit about anything else other than Cyberpunk.
True.
So
I'm kind of surprised Cyberpunk didn't win most anticipated game after it released.
well, you want to know what? It's look. It has the headlines in the best and worst ways.
True.
You know what I mean? It's wild to me. So before we get into like our impressions, right? It is well known at this point that the Cyberpunk versions on the original PS4 and the original Xbox One are total shit. They're running down to 15 frames per second.
Ouch.
It's insane.
This was why they delayed it, by the way.
On the other side of this, Cyberpunk is the largest PC launch game ever.
By a country mile.
Really?
Just by pre-orders. It doesn't include day one purchases. It's wild.
They broke the 3 million mark within hours of official release.
That's hype.
They made back all their money for game development and marketing off of pre-orders alone.
Wow.
The game is wildly successful, and for a lot of people, it's unplayable. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because it's bruh.
And I played Fallout 76. Anything is playable, bro.
My goodness.
Oh man. So it's just wild to me. So if you guys have followed the OLED Twitter, I haven't put this on the OLED Facebook yet. I have the Xbox version. So I'm playing the Xbox One X version technically because there is not a Series X or PlayStation 5 version as of yet. Right? That's a 21 update next year. You will see there are glitches. Bad. Like this, like having to restart in an older save because I couldn't finish like certain missions and stuff. So yeah. Uh I guess who wants to go with their first impression of like their start? Because we all did a different start, right? I did
Right.
Street Kid, Justin did Corpo, Tim did Nomad. So who wants to go with their experience first, I guess?
I'll go.
Yeah, Justin.
So I haven't gotten too deep in it, but I went with the Corpo lifestyle, and I was basically sitting on the character creator watching the Game Awards on my other monitor. And I've really I spent a lot of time thinking about what kind of character I wanted to like role play in this world. And initially I was like, I'm gonna make a really bland looking guy, just like some office nerd who's just doing his office life, just being a loser. And then I was like, man, I can't have this normal looking dude when they have all these really cool options. So I made my character fucking crazy looking and came up with a whole different wild backstory. And I like the way the Corpo thing starts. You're basically in this situation where you are in a pretty good position in your job, but you're there because this dude above you put you there, and he asks you to do this thing, and you kind of have to do it, and that's where the game really opens up and kind of converges with the other stories, I assume.
All I can think of is that dude from Office Space that wants a stapler.
Yeah.
Started talking about
Yeah, that
I
was gonna
like,
be my character
If I
originally.
don't have a stapler, I'm
you
gonna burn
should have
the place to the
made him.
ground.
Couldn't
Because
do it,
later
man.
on, you're over here with all these cybernetic implants and shit. And you just give me my stapler.
That'll be my next playthrough. It'll be all melee build.
Oh my god. Oh man. Tim, you want to go over here? Mine's the most boring. I can 100% guarantee Street Kid is the most boring. So Tim, go ahead and go with yours.
So for the nomad lifestyle, basically the game starts out, you're in this little town, getting your car fixed. It goes a little bit into like the clan situation, which is very Mad Maxy. It's very, very the more you got to read a lot of the lore that's throughout the world to get a bigger picture of it, but they do go over it a little bit. And um basically your characters abandon their clan and you're rolling solo and you gotta smuggle this dude across the border. It's how in this world, I think in all three play styles, like you meet or already know Jacky.
Right.
In this one I'm smuggling Jacky.
Nice.
So we sneak into the city and become besties. So it's interesting. I really like I'm glad that I got the Nomad one because we kind of were just like, I just defaulted to whatever you two didn't pick, and it just
Mhm.
happened to be the one I would have picked any fucking way. Because coming from like Fallout, I was literally looking at the town, going like, "Am I in New Vegas? Like this is." And then I think like it's very, very Fallout-y in a lot of ways, but it's its own thing, and I love it.
So guess what?
Did you break your microphone?
No, I never hit go live on Facebook.
Oh no, giving me shit. Oh, we've been live on Facebook for 2 minutes.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, shit. So we're
Bro.
gonna have to upload the Twitch stream
Yeah.
to the Facebook.
Yeah.
We're too far in now.
Nailed it.
Oh, there was a
Jesus.
problem with the audio in the Facebook. OBS was doing that thing where it switched to audio sources on me again in between it closing and opening.
No, it's
So
all right.
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah. So the Street Kid, look, you literally just start out in a bar, and I'm sure you guys have seen the trailer footage of when you try to jack a car
Yeah.
and the cops show up. Yep, that's Street Kid, man.
Okay.
Like, if you're in a bar, you take a job, and it goes crazy. But that's how you meet Jacky, right? Because
Mhm.
you're in there, you get in the car, you're getting ready to take off, and he open the door and puts a gun in your face and goes, "Fuck out," and you're like, "The fuck are you? Who are you?"
Oh my
Like
god.
what are you talking to me for? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. It gives you the option to gun it, like when you're in the vehicle, but I didn't take it.
Ooh.
I actually because I like doing the character I'm making, right? He's more, like, dialogue focused if I can be, right?
Mhm.
And so, like, I was hoping I could, like, talk my way out of it and be like, "Hey, man, no, just
Mhm.
let me go, bro. We're all good," and then the cops show up and shit, and yeah, it's whatever. It's all downhill from there. But yeah, so Street Kid, is I mean, it's fun, like, it gets you into the game, but I feel like probably the best one is Nomad because you go from the outside
Right.
to the inside, and so you can see, like, I'm assuming, right? Because I didn't experience this, but the, like, majestic or, like, the shock of going into the city after being out in the Badlands is probably bigger than, like, I'm just in the city, right? Like, I just started there. You
I
know what I
mean, you
mean?
can see the city the whole way up to it,
Right,
cause
but when you're,
yeah,
like,
it's
sneaking
cool.
in, you know what I mean? It's like, "Oh, I'm finally here, man. The game's gonna start." You know what I mean? Like, it's different than, like, I walked out the bar and I'm like, "Bro, I'm here.
Right.
I'm about to go get this car." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Less
Yeah,
so I don't know.
relatable.
I won't spoil it. I will say the Nomad playthrough, the opening is very worth doing because there's some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about how you meet Jacky as a corpo, but basically you're hired to do this kind of fucked up job, and you call Jacky because you need like a crew, and he's like your go-to guy, like your bros,
Oh,
and
that's cool as shit.
yeah, and some weird shit happens. It's great. I like
Yeah,
Jacky.
yeah, he's a good character. They're all I will say this, all the characters you meet in the main story are generally very well voiced and everything, right?
Hmm.
They're just fucking
The dialogue's really
it's
Well
good.
very
written.
good, right? Yeah, it's all good. It's when you get out of the main story that things get a little well, even in the main story, that glitch that I have, I'm doing a main story mission in that, I
Mm.
remember. It's like,
I put that in
fuck.
the Olip chat, or I put it in
And
the
then the
Twitch
Twitch,
chat, so
yeah, I see
anybody
it.
can
Yeah, dude,
check it
Oh,
out if they
that
want.
video.
I was so frustrated because it's just like, God, it's such a big moment. Like, it really
Yeah,
is for, like, the player, right? And it's just like, fuck.
yeah. I I will say, and Cody, you and I have talked a little bit about this. That's where I think the game struggles hardest is outside of the main story, but it's not the content. When you get to the content, it's good. The content is fun. The crafting system is very functional once you actually use it. Like there are reasons to use it, but it doesn't give itself it doesn't do a good enough job drawing you to that content. It's there and you have the option to check it out, but the game is just like wants you to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G through the story. It's not going, all right, now go check this out. It doesn't do what The Witcher did, which was a really good job of forcing you to explore your world, forcing you to do these other missions, making you do more. Where Cyberpunk has that stuff there. It's just like there's not that strong link between the world and the main story, even though they're both very strong elements.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I probably spent so and we'll just say this, the heist in the game, right? That you do is really like the turning point from your opening tutorial type thing to the main game, right? I spent probably 12 hours in in just that opening piece because this is what I do. Whenever I get in an open world game, as soon as the game cuts me loose, I'm out. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. I don't care about the main story right now. I'm gonna go see what this is. I'm gonna go see what X is. So it was funny because when Tim and I were originally talking, he was like, "How far are you in the story?" I was like, "Oh, I'm not that far." He's like, "How many hours have you put in?" I was like, "I don't know, 10 to 12." You know, and he's like, "But you haven't done this yet?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "What the fuck?" I was just like, "Yeah, man, I've just been running around doing whatever." Because the game doesn't really the game once it lets you go, like it just lets you go. Um, it it doesn't explain a lot. And that was part of the reason why I wanted to do the side content is because I didn't really like I had an idea of what I wanted to be, but I just didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? I'm like a stealthy character. I don't really kill people, right? If I have the option not to kill people, I take it. But if I have to, like I got a shotgun on me, bro. Like I will, or I got a blade. of some sort. I had a katana for a long time. Now I walk around with a machete. Like I will chop you to pieces if I have to. But yeah, man, it doesn't explain a lot, and so it took me a little while to like kind of just figure out what I was doing. And then once I got comfortable with like my character and stuff, then I started having a lot more fun. The first 10 hours or so when I was talking to Tim, I was very whelmed. I was like, well, game. I guess I'll play it because I spent the money, but I had nothing. I definitely was going. I think I'd rather play Dragon Quest 11
Ooh.
than this. Like that was my first about 10 hours. As I've gotten into it and I've really started to build my character, I'm having a lot more fun. But yeah, those opening hours for me were not like since I didn't just do the story because the story is great and I can see how it'd suck anybody in, but it, it doesn't suck you in like that hard in the very beginning.
Yeah,
So
I want to say this as well before we keep going. With on that note, Cody, with it doesn't really explain a lot to you, like you were saying.
yeah.
A good example of that, like we said earlier, there's no tutorial for the crafting system. You just
Mhm.
kind of
Oh,
have to
literally
figure it out.
0.
There's
Yeah.
literally none. It doesn't ever. I mean, I'm further than you in the main story. I still haven't got anything like that. And melee combat, same thing. Like you get the basic bitch tutorial stuff in the beginning for melee combat. Did you know if you're holding block and attack, there's a different attack? Like you can do a
No.
defensive attack. Yeah,
No.
so it makes those fights you were talking about earlier with the cyber psychos and stuff so much
Mhm.
easier because you can do a defensive attack into a combo and then recharge your stamina while blocking again. Like it's like all of a sudden it went and that's never explained that you can combo into your attacks or that there's no like
Didn't know that at all.
right,
I've
but you
I've just
you
been dodging and then like
yep.
ha ha ha, and then I
Right.
like back up and then when he does this little like overhead swing or whatever the fuck their strong attack is, I
Yep.
dodge, ha ha ha, and
Or
like they run away again.
in those fights, you could use a katana for him and then switch to fists at the end or a baseball bat at the end and then knock him out that way.
Right.
Like another thing, not explained. The non-lethal stuff never explained in the game.
What do you
It's
mean?
definitely an option. Like so, it never tells you, hey, if you want to just knock out an opponent, use a baseball bat
Okay, so
instead of a
baseball
katana.
bats will just default knock people out.
Yeah,
Okay,
like you can hit them
or
after you've
blunt
knocked them out,
weapons.
and yeah, blunt weapons you can kill somebody with, but you're gonna knock them out first, and then you have to keep beating them to death.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like it's one of those things where like it's just they don't do a good enough job teaching you these things that are not they're unique to Cyberpunk. Like the combat system, melee combat system at first I was like this is shit. I thought I was like this is like Skyrim stuff. Like I'm
Mhm.
just hit, block, move away, that's it with a dodge. All right. But then I figured that out. I was like, "Oh, I can combo?
There's a
I
cop.
could like I could just fucking like block and then go into a combo and then dodge and then block and recharge my like I can actually there's actually strategy to the melee. I was like, fuck. If they would have done a better job with that, and you kind of can learn a little bit of that by doing the boxing stuff, but not really, because the first boxing shit like will kick your ass if you don't know it.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
those fucking twins, dude,
yeah,
from
they
the
will
trailer.
whoop on
They
you.
they lit me up the first
Yeah,
time I fought them. I was
yeah,
like, "What the fuck is
yeah.
happening?" I was like,
It's
"I'm
like
coming back later. I'm gonna beat your ass
so
later."
I know that there have been many times on OLIP that I have given a game credit for giving the player agency and not holding your hand, not teaching you everything in the game.
Right.
But there's a line there where you have to teach somebody some stuff. And like
So it's
these
like
are
me with
things
Five Nights at Freddy.
yeah, yeah, kind of
I
it's
feel
like
like
Exactly what it is.
with the
it's
melee
throwing you into the
system,
fire.
I did the tutorial and it teaches you things, but they don't say there's more to learn, figure it out. Like I
Right.
just
Right.
you assume that's all there is
I don't
because
yeah,
it's a fairly in-depth tutorial. Like you learn the counter, you learn a few things, but not like the defensive attack at all.
no,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Or like
Yeah, they
knives,
don't
you
ever
can if you equip a knife,
oh, yeah,
you
you
can
throw
huck it
it.
at somebody. Yeah,
Oh,
so
nice.
like
Yeah, see,
you can spec into that so that it does more
I
damage.
hate that. I hate it. I thought that was gonna be so cool, and then I did it. It was one of my first perk points I used, and I threw my knife, and I couldn't find it. I'm like, "I'm never
Oh
using this skill."
no.
It's no point. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be hucking knives everywhere,
because
and I
you
only
don't
get
like
one
carry.
throw.
It's not like
Right,
every knife you have is an ammo count or anything. It's just one knife.
right.
Mm,
So,
Yeah.
but I think if you hit them in the head, you're supposed to be able to retrieve it. But I think that's a perk.
right. it seems like there are a lot of cool perks that you can build up to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a very in-depth system that they don't explain at all, right? Because you have multiple levels of the way you can build your character. First, you got your well, not even first, but one of them is your cybernetics, right? Then you have your character level, and then you have your each individual like your each individual like overall attribute points, so your body and your intelligence and your reflexes and stuff. And then inside of those, you have more attribute points, right? That you distribute, right? And
Hmm.
those are based off of like how well you use that item or that uh type of attack. So you get your so like reflexes, right, is one of them. It's got assault, handguns, and blades in it,
Hmm.
right? So you can only like you have to have like for some of the skills on the outer portion of the skill tree, you have to have 20 in handguns. Well, the only way you can get to 20 in handguns is just by using it, right? That's
I
how you
actually
do
I
it.
love that.
No, I like it too, but there's a multi-layered system to like building your character,
Mhm.
and they don't explain it at all.
Yeah.
Like
They
you just
don't.
kind of gotta figure it out, and like I'm okay with that for the most part
Maybe
because
we should do
you're not
build guides.
you're not well we could, but you're not forced to spend your points immediately, right? So you could be like, oh, I don't feel like spending anything right now. You can level up whenever you want, right? So like let's say so like your major skill points, right? And like body reflexes and whatnot, those can also be used in dialogue options. So like let's say in the middle of a dialogue, you can pause and like say you don't meet the skill check, you can go into your fucking or go into your character and just level it up real quick if you have the points sitting there, and then
Nice.
hit the skill check. So I mean, there's something to holding on to that stuff as you want. But I mean,
I've put it almost all in cool.
so I have it all over the
Ooh.
place because like I've gone very cybernetic in general. I think I have a cybernetic on almost every body part. I think I'm over 60% now on the achievement.
Oh wow. The
Um,
flesh is
and
weak.
but right. I actually was thinking about it earlier. I really wish they had an option for. They should have an achievement for going full cybernetic and then not being cybernetic at all. But the game forces you to put in some cybernetics in the beginning, right?
Mm.
To like teach you some stuff. So obviously I can't do that. But um yeah, no, it's just I don't know. Like there's a lot to the game. There's so much there. Most of it's not explained.
Yeah.
Most of it's just like figure the fuck out. And then when you have I can see where this game can be very frustrating because then you have glitches and bugs and all this other stuff you're running into. And it's just like this game, all right, and this is a question I want to ask y'all because I'm actually for this. This past April, was the original release date for Cyberpunk. Could you imagine the state the game would have been in at the beginning of 2020? Like you're talking the beginning of the
Oh,
second
That's a
quarter
lot
of
of time.
2020, right? So, do you think Cyberpunk would be better served by doing what Halo did and just coming out in April or in March, right? Ideally March, and just be like, "Hey, it was been delayed till spring 2021." Because there is a very good game in here that I don't know why, but they delayed it to as late as they could in 2020, but they had to release it in 2020. And that had to have been an internal company thing, you know what I mean? But there's
investors
no other
probably.
way that they would release it like this because there's been evidence, right? Skill Up's been very vocal about this that all the review copies were only for PC and all the reviews were only able to use
Mm.
B-roll footage and trailer footage and stuff like that. And you have, like we said at the top of the Cyberpunk topic, the old console versions running completely like shit. It's unplayable for most people. And it's like they knew that it was going to be like this. And so it's just like, can you trust the company anymore? Like the company that's been the most consumer friendly, right, over the past few years, it's taken a huge reputation hit. I'm not I'm gonna be honest with the
Their
way the
stock
game's
dropped
released.
26% today.
No, it dropped 29,
Was it 29?
29, almost 30% stock droppage
Yeah.
because of the release of the game. And the company had to change the bonus terms for their employees, right? before the bonus for the employees was based on getting a 90 plus on Metacritic, and they changed that because they know it's not going to happen
Well, that's
because it's
also a
getting
good
really
change, though,
long.
across the
Well,
board. You
it,
shouldn't
it,
be
it,
getting bonuses based on your Metacritic. That's pretty fucked up.
I mean, it is right, but when you're the expectation, I guess, is to release the best game of the year, or or one of the best games of this generation, right? Because that's basically what it was being hyped to be, right? After the success of Witcher 3 and all the stuff that they did, the hype train on it was really high.
It
I
is a
so I can
90 on
see.
Metacritic.
Is it? Well, it was supposed to be a 90 plus. So
It's
at least
90
that's what the article said. Metacritic from the critics or
from
from
the
the
critics.
players?
From the critics.
Yeah. And what is it from the
They wouldn't
players?
go off of what the players. It's 6.1 from players, which I think
Yeah.
is
Nope. That's
that's too
generous
low.
in my nope. It's generous in my opinion.
See, that's
There's a
you're playing
good
on
game
Xbox,
there,
so like
right?
for
There's a good
me,
game in there,
I've
but what they've
found
released, I don't know.
one
I put a lot
T-pose.
of time into it.
Depends
I
on
put a
what
lot of time.
you're, what you're reviewing, the game and the content of the game, or the game's technical state. Like, there's a lot of gray area in
I think
reviews.
the
That's
game
true.
as a whole, because I think for a lot of people, and I think this is kind of it for Tim too. Not to put words in your mouth, but I think the story has kind of helped you get over some of the overall story from the main story, get over a lot of the main issues, right? Because you did a lot of the main story at first, and I jumped straight into the side content, right? And
Yeah,
we
I've
had
kind of
two
done it
different
backwards.
experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had two different experiences from the jump. I was over here talking about 6.5, maybe a 7 the other day, and Tim was talking about an 8 on a
Yeah,
scale of 10.
I'd say on a scale of 10 right now, I'd give it about an 8.5, and it has the potential to go up to above a 9, and it has the potential to go down to like a 7.5, depending on what happens as I continue to play. Um, but I just haven't had that many issues. Like I've had one crash, I've had one T-pose, and I've had a bug a couple of times where like switching weapons during a fight, all of a sudden my weapon won't drop. But like switching weapons, I don't mean switching like 1, 2, 3. I mean like going into my inventory and being like, all right, I want to take my sniper off. I want to put my SMG on. Now all of a sudden I can't pull out my SMG. I have to switch to my katana and then I can go back to the SMG. That's happened. But like I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, my inventory's buggy. I'm like, I haven't had any inventory bugs. I've had people say, "Oh, my game's constantly crashing." I haven't had any hard crashes other than the one. The one. So I don't know. I'm just not like I'm not finding floating bodies. I'm not finding floating weapons. I'm not getting that in my game. I am getting for some reason every once in a while somebody will fall and the way they die they're like bent over backwards, but I don't know if that's just the physics or a bug. And that doesn't
Probably
bug me that
physics.
much. Probably. So
Yeah.
like I don't know. I it's the one time there's a super buggy ass game and I'm not getting any of them.
So to be fair, and I think we said this, but just so everybody knows, Tim and Justin are both playing on PC.
Yep.
I'm playing on the Xbox Series X, right? So I'm technically playing the Xbox One X version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so I don't have a lot of issues that the older generation of Xbox consoles are having, right? But I'm still having
A
way too
ton.
many issues,
Yeah.
right, for a AAA game. Um, it's just disappointing, right? And not even from a hype level um type of aspect, but just from a I've put a lot of money into CD Project Red, right, through The Witcher. You know what I mean? I bought it on Steam, I bought it on the Switch, I've played it on Xbox, you know what I mean? I've put up with a lot of like weird shit on the Switch because obviously it's a Switch, right? You know what I mean? Um, and so I just expected more from a company that has repeatedly been consumer friendly. And then they did this. I mean, it was kind of backhanded the way that they did these reviews and stuff, right? It was not it, and we didn't get into this today, but it's kind of like what Nvidia did to that review company about the RTX stuff,
Hardware
right?
unboxed,
It's
yeah.
right. It's similar, right? They held the reviews, right? You couldn't use your own footage until after the game release. And it's just like because they knew it was gonna hurt sales.
You know what I think is funny? For you and for I think for a lot of people, this is your Fallout 4 moment.
Oh my
Mm,
god.
For like the follow-up to Skyrim
Oh
at the
my god.
time Was Bethesda ever any higher? Was anyone ever
Mhm.
more hyped for anything Bethesda had ever done? Bethesda was, they built nothing but great worlds. Yeah, their games were buggy, but it's because there were so many moving parts. There's so many things. Fallout 4 was incredibly hyped, and then it came out, and for a lot of people that weren't Bethesda fans, it was like, meh. And for a lot of people that were expecting it to be like Fallout 4, like to be
Right.
goddamn, the greatest thing ever, it wasn't that. It's a good game, but I think it's not what a lot of people thought it was. So their expectations were, like you were saying earlier, they were very whelmed by it.
Yeah.
It was just, oh, this is it. Okay.
Right.
And I think for you, this is that moment where we've had years, 2012,
7,
2013, 7 years.
13,
We'll call
7
it
years.
2013. 7 years of hype, of
Yeah.
buildup, of fucking Keanu Reeves, of no, you're breathtaking. Like so much
Yeah.
hype. And then it's a game.
Yeah.
It's a good
Well,
game.
no,
It's not it's not
it's
the
not the fact it's not just a game. It's a broken mess. That's the problem. Like,
again,
that's the crux of the issue, right?
your
I would
Fallout 4
say
moment.
no, I would say this is closer to for me, personally, because I'm not a huge Fallout fan. The only Fallout I've ever enjoyed is New Vegas, and that's
Right.
because it was probably made by Obsidian,
Yep.
and they're just fantastic, right? Um, but anyways, this is probably closer to Mass Effect Andromeda for me, right? Because Mass Effect, I love the Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and I really wanted Andromeda to be, the ending of 3 sucked, right? But Andromeda was supposed to, hey, we're back at it, baby.
Mhm.
It's back. And then that thing was a fucking mess. And
Sure.
I still played it for a while, right? I streamed it even a little bit back in 2017. Um,
I'm sorry, my face is tired.
exactly. Exactly.
So
Like,
bad.
I think that's probably a closer thing for me personally, um,
See,
is, like,
here's
being let
the
down by
the
Mass
difference
Effect
to
2.
me though. Like I played Andromeda, but I never felt compelled to continue playing Andromeda. Like I didn't play much of Andromeda. It's I'm still compelled to play Cyberpunk. Like I think there's a lot more game here, and I think the problem I think the more it gets patched out, it'll get better. Like it can't get much
Right,
worse.
but it's never gonna get over its initial impressions.
I don't know.
Did you guys see what I posted on Olup earlier? I was running downstairs and I died.
I didn't see that. No. You had
I
a DayZ moment.
Oh my
the
Okay.
god.
collision detection in this game is wild. Like, the your character colliding with, like, other objects. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been, like, sneaking along a wall, and I just go 50 feet forward.
Oh
Like, I just
no.
fucking launch. Like, it's crazy. It's like
See,
I'm fucking going off an aircraft carrier, dude. It's wild. And I've played and I've probably played most of my game in the quality mode, but I've also I started playing in the performance mode mostly so I could give it all its fair shake across the board.
Mm.
Uh, I don't like performance mode. Like, performance mode is at 60 FPS, which is nice. But I can literally see everything popping in, like, on the ground.
No.
Just on the ground, right? It's not all the characters and stuff or whatever, but, like, at night, the lighting, I can see it popping in as I'm running across the street. I can see everything, and it's just like,
Yep.
"God, this is bad." There is just so many problems. I've
Ha
seen the T-posing, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen you name it, I've probably seen it, and I still put and this is why I hate it. This is why I'm so frustrated is because I still like the game overall, but I will never be able to I couldn't recommend this game to anybody. I just can't. It's a fucking mess. Like,
how big of an issue do you think is the fact that they developed it for current generation hardware as well as previous generation hardware?
big.
I don't think they really had a choice to not do it,
Right,
right?
but the
Just for
point
the
is
release window, right?
whether or not
They
they
could
had a
have.
choice. His question is it causing a lot of these issues? And the answer is yes. Like
No.
it. You
You
don't
had
think so?
7 years with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. That
Mhm.
one should be the most stable, and it is the least stable of the bunch.
That's probably true.
Should it be the
There
better version?
It should be the mo I didn't say better, I just said it should be stable,
Just
right?
because it's older
I would
hardware doesn't mean it's easier to develop on, though.
Well, okay, but then if we use that argument, then when it comes to the current argument of the reason why Xbox has been losing to PlayStation and all these games is because developers don't have enough time with their new hardware, right? Because it got released later, then that argument flies out the window. And I think that has more credence than I've messed with the same hardware for the past 7 years and I still don't know how to fully optimize it. That's bullshit to me. Like, how do you can't optimize for something that's been out for 7 years? Like,
I will say there are a lot of times where I'm playing the game and it doesn't look on my system, and I don't have RTX and I don't have a
right.
lot of the fancy gadgets and stuff. It doesn't necessarily look next gen. Like
Mhm.
it looks like a nicer, neoner, cleaner Fallout game. And I know that Fallout is like my default comparison, but like what game is there in existence that is most similar to this in gameplay mechanics and stylistically? It would be like this is like if Fallout and uh GTA had a baby. You're gonna kind of get something
Right.
a lot really
Mhm.
close to
Right.
Cyberpunk. So that's kind of where my brain keeps going with it. So I apologize for anybody who like is like, why does this fucker keep talking about a shit game like Fallout? I'm sorry, I have like 600 hours across the no more than that across the franchise. But like, the engine is like, yeah, you're not wrong. It doesn't look like it's a beautiful game. It looks good,
Right.
but
It has moments of
does
great.
does it look like I'm playing a game that couldn't have come out 3 or 4 years ago? No, it could have without RTX and with traditional rasterization. It's a very good looking game, but it doesn't look I mean, the graphics graphically, I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
next gen is gonna be a huge leap in terms of the way things look. It'll be more how they
I saw Digital
load.
Foundry put out their video on, like, with they had, like, a 3090, they had, like, the whole fucking bells and whistles, dude, and the game looked fucking crazy good.
Well, that's with
It
RTX and the 3090.
well, right, like I said, all the bells and whistles. So
Yeah.
I think just what the general consumer is gonna get right now is going to be it's almost kinda like when The Witcher 3 came out. Nobody could run
Right.
God damn it, nobody could run The Witcher 3 at 4K, right? But it had a 4K option, you know what I mean? But nobody was hitting 60 FPS at the time. I think 3, 4 years from now, you're gonna see people still playing this game, right? Because the optimization will have happened, the bugs will
Mhm.
get smoothed out, right? And people I expect that Metacritic score to go up, but it's never the problem is it's just never going to come out of where it's at right now. And that's kind of the issue,
See,
right?
isn't it though? Because like there are a lot of games that we've talked about where we're like, will it ever recover? And
It's not a No
there are
Man's
more games
Sky.
that are.
It's not a live service game. It's a single player game.
Doesn't necessarily
If
need to be. Because like
what game, I guess, long term has really fixed itself
Fallout
like
4.
that?
I know that that's the default comparison I keep
How many
having, but
people
like
went back to Fallout 4 though,
more
right?
than you'd think.
I
A
mm,
lot more than you think, because Fallout 4, when it first came out, if you look at its Steam score now, its review score on Steam now, when
wasn't
it
very
first came out, it was like in the mid 70s. It was not good. It was like people were like, I even saw it at one point at 70 or 71 or something like that. People were like, it's just it's average at best. If you look at it now, as of December 2020, 91% recent reviews. 3,000 of them in the last 30 days. 3,300 reviews in the last
right,
30 days.
right, 135,000 reviews and it's mostly positive though.
Mostly positive. Yeah, up to a 78 from like I said, low to mid 70s. So now it's
So
high 70s.
so
I
we're
thought it was
talking
higher than
we're
it
talk
was.
we're talking about less than 1% of the total reviews of that.
But see, I think you're gonna start in a much higher spot with Cyberpunk on PC at least. The Xbox,
Well, yeah,
the issues they're having
I
on
probably would.
console, yeah. But on PC, like if I think if I were to look at Cyberpunk and their review stuff on Steam right now,
Mostly
where are we
positive,
starting?
94,000.
Mostly positive, and but we're starting at 79. So I think you're gonna get to a mid 80s. I think you have the potential with future content, especially if they do the CDPR consumer friendly thing and they don't just do paid DLC, but they also do like The Witcher had some free story expansions that came out, like minor ones, like minor story stuff. And
Yeah, but,
they've
like, Blood and Wine and stuff were $20 expansions or something like that.
Yeah, I think you'll get both, and I think that additional content will only add to what's already there. So I think that's my bet, just based on its closest comparison that I have, plus this company's history. I think it's gonna go up.
Where are you
It
seeing the
won't go
70
down.
thing?
Where am I seeing what?
70?
70. It's at 79. I'm looking at their all reviews on the Steam page. 79%, 94,000 reviews. Which, by the way, I used Fallout 4 before. The Fallout 4's all reviews is 135. This almost fucking has that in 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
That's because it's the biggest launch ever.
There's never been a more hyped game in history.
No, there hasn't.
And there never will be. I don't think we'll ever see this kind of hype again.
As far as
there won't be this
people
kind of build up.
coming back to the game after being turned off by it, they're gonna have content. A free multiplayer update is gonna draw tons of people back into it.
By the way, that's going to be a
If
separate
it's
game.
not broken.
It'll be a separate
Right.
download.
Right, but if it's not broken, like that's the caveat. For all Cyberpunk content going forward, it's going to be, well, does it work? That's it.
It'll be
Like,
fixed by
that's-
then. People won't even be talking about it
Well,
anymore.
see, you say that, but I don't know if it will be. There is a lot of issues with this game. This isn't something that's going to
Not
get
for me.
fixed in the next.
See, here's the
Right.
thing. You're saying this as a console player. So for you, yep, there are a shitload of issues, but also, like you were saying, generally speaking, what the fuck? Sorry. I checked a different game and its
Yeah.
reviews have gone way the fuck up. And it confuses me. I mean, it doesn't, but it does.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
is.
continuing. Like, I don't know what the numbers are. I know the number of PC users has gone way the fuck up, especially this
Oh, yeah.
year.
Mhm.
That's why
Yeah.
we can't fucking buy any of the hardware we want, because welcome to PCMR. Like, there's just so many fucking people that now are playing on computer that weren't before. But I would assume that console is still, there's probably more console players than there are PC players still, but it's a hell of a lot closer than it used to be. And I think if I still don't know why there were hot fixes and patches that are out for PC and PlayStation that have resolved a lot of issues that aren't there for Xbox.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I
You
don't know
still
why.
haven't gotten
That's so
your hot
weird.
fix, right?
Yeah, I haven't either. But
Like-
here's just put it in perspective. Cyberpunk sold 4.72 million copies on PC, and there was 8 million.
Wild.
There was 8 million copies sold total for pre-orders. So it's literally like
It's
a split.
50-50.
It's
Mhm.
almost an even split. So I'm
That's
just so
crazy.
you're looking at 50% of your base right now. Base is having them an ass ton of issues.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like. Yes, people will probably come back to it on PC because it's probably going to be a benchmark game and like from a graphical perspective going forward for the next 5-6 years, right? I could see that being part of the reason why they come back to it, but it's going to have that caveat because even though the PC version does work better than the console version, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have its own set of issues. I can't name them, right, because I haven't been playing it on PC.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
It's wild the number of problems there are on the older hardware. It almost seems like it's early access for console users, and it's going to update later.
I will say I do wish that companies were more honest about whether a game's early access or not, because so many games release in this state similar to Cyberpunk now, where it's like, man, this feels like fucking early access. This is broken. This has a ton of issues. Why did this come out like this? I feel like we talk about this every major launch now. How many like titles come out that we were anticipating to come out that are major launches that people are really hyped about, that all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is a fucking broken ass mess. There's not a ton that you don't have that conversation with around.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Like it's just that's wild to me that there isn't like this requirement for manufacturers and for game makers to be like, all right, just so you guys know. No, instead they're like, oh, we'll fix it with patches early in. It's like, okay, or you could fix it before you release it.
You know,
that'd be great.
I feel like a big proponent of why that happens is people pre-ordering games.
Yep. If people didn't
You're
pre-order the
not
game,
wrong.
if they didn't know, if CD Projekt Red didn't know, and like they didn't know that they had 8 million games that they immediately day one,
Mm-hmm.
like they have 8 million, whatever 60 times 8 million is, it's a lot. Like
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
knew I had that much money coming in, like, and I'm running a business, I gotta pay people. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take the money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just I agree with that. But yeah, I don't know. It's very divisive. But it's just, and this is gonna be a weird analogy, right? But I work out a lot, right? But I'm still kind of on the heavier side, right? Because I don't eat right and all that kind of stuff. So it's just funny to me. And I'm just once again, weird analogy. But when I look at myself in the mirror, I can see where like the muscle growth and stuff is, right? And I'm like, God, if I could just get rid of this fat, I'd look great, right? And that's where I feel like Cyberpunk is right now. There is a great
Mm-hmm.
game underneath all this fucking fat. You know what I mean? But we can't get to all the great parts of it, or the great parts get ruined because of bugs and graphical glitches and all this other nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the disappointing part for me, right? I really wish in April or March or whatever they just went, hey, spring next year, guys, and it'll for sure be out. Because with another 4 or 5 months, this game probably could have been really polished,
Right.
and the issues probably would have been fairly minor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying all issues would have been cleared up, but the issues overall probably would. Look, I bet you those console versions from 2013 would run at a stable 30 FPS at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
And that's
I
that's the bare
I just
minimum requirement, really.
I
Like,
wonder if they would have, because like they delayed it a month ago, or not a month ago, 2 months ago, month and a half ago to December, right?
right.
And that wasn't a lot of time, but they were like, it's to polish it up and get it to run better. And this is how they released it. No. So how bad would it have been had they released it in November? But also, was that even enough time to like get shit fixed? Like, obviously not. So
Right.
I mean, I don't have. I think I've said this before. I don't have a problem with you delaying your game if it means I'm getting it better.
Right, honestly, if
But
it's
I
make
also have proven that I will play a buggy ass mess if I find the bones of it enjoyable. And I think they're learning, not just CDPR, but I think publishers in general have learned that I think there are more people like me in the world than I thought there were. There's a lot of people who will play these games broken as fuck and enjoy them still and stick with it. I don't know.
Broken games are the norm.
Yeah.
which is shitty for the
Yep.
consumer. 8 million copies, dude. Did
That's
somebody do the
so.
math on that? I'm about
I
to do the
mean,
math.
do I really need to do the math and tell you it's 480?
Is
6
it
times 8?
480?
6
Look,
times
bro, I don't
8.
know. Dude,
This is a math
I
class,
took
Tim.
I took I
6
took
times
eighth
8.
I took
I
8th
was
grade
like
math in ninth grade,
when you said
Tim.
it earlier, I was like, is he really not gonna just do 6 times 8 in his head?
No, because I don't know 6 times 8 off the top of my head, Tim.
All right, so
I am not
here's a
good
trick.
at math,
Here's a trick.
Are
Here's
we
a trick.
doing
6
this?
times
I
6 times
guess.
10 minus 6 times 2. There you
Why
go.
would I do that? That's extra math.
It took, because if you can't do 6 times 8, then you do the nearest clean number and you subtract.
Or I could just use a fucking calculator, Tim, because our teachers lied to us
I
and
have a
said we wouldn't
question.
always have a
Does it
calculator on.
does it take you longer to type it into your calculator, or do what I did?
Probably do what you did in my head.
Fuck.
I'm not good
Justin's
at math.
bored.
What do you want from me?
Justin's going to sleep. He's bored
Yeah,
of
he
this.
is.
Talking about math, dude. Let's talk about video games. Jesus.
Same thing.
That's a lot of fucking money, dude. 480 million in one day. One day.
So much.
Not including day one sales, like outside of pre-orders.
Do you guys want to talk about your characters at all? I'm curious about how you made your characters look. Tim, I know yours looks like you.
Yes.
Tradition.
My first one always does. Yeah, my first character I always try and make look like me. So he has a goatee, he has blonde hair. The only thing is, like, I didn't give him my haircut. I gave him like longer hair on top. I didn't give him the flow like I usually do, because they don't have like a normal, like, just long hair dude option.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I could give him dreads. Nah.
I've never been one to like implant myself into a video game. Even like on
all the
Madden,
time.
I don't name the characters generally after myself and the create a player and stuff.
You don't make
I
yourself a Madden? Bro, I make myself a Madden, I'm always a running back or fullback.
I'm sure you do. I can tell. I don't ever. I literally I go in there and I'm like, all right, I want to play this kind of character, and then I just make somebody that I think looks decent, that I can enjoy looking at for the next 100 hours if I end up playing that long, and then I just go on my merry way. Which I kind of wish I would have made. My dude looks so nice, like his facial feature, like he just looks nice all the time. You know what I mean? So it's just like
Like a
I
nice
kinda wish I
guy?
would've made it. Yeah, like a nice person. Like, he
That's
just
funny.
the way his eyes are, like, they're the cool blue, right? And he's just looks like he'd just be a smiley, joyful guy,
Actually
and
murderous.
it's and
Oh,
I run around.
you're doing
I do
non-lethal.
a pseudo pacifist playthrough, right?
He is.
He is a nice
So,
guy.
yeah, so I'm just I find it funny because now that I have Johnny Silverhand run around with me or whatever, I did do a certain mission where I didn't kill anybody, and he was like, "What are you, a fucking bitch?" Like,
Yo, that's awesome.
he's like, "You gotta kill some of these motherfuckers, dude." And I was like, "Nah, bro, fuck you."
I love that.
So if they don't make me kill them, I don't. If they just go night night from me, put them in a sleeper hold, that's what I do. But yeah, I kind of regret that a little bit because the character, V's character voice, male character voice, just doesn't match probably what my character looks like.
I don't
You know
like
what
the
I mean?
voice for V that much.
I
It's
like
not
it.
what I imagined, I guess.
Options.
Yeah.
Right. I
The
wish they
only
would've gotten different
options were
perspective.
male and
They
female.
they
And then
probably
also, that's what they tie your character's pronoun to, which is weird because it seemed like this was going to be such a forward-thinking game in so many ways. And then they were
a
like,
little bit.
if you have
Here's
a deep voice, you're referred to as a man. Like, that's
I
a
mean, it is
miss.
a little.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little bit. I can make a dude with a vagina.
Yeah, right. Like, that's.
can.
I mean,
You can
I
have a
can.
masculine form
Right.
and a vagina, or a feminine form and a penis, which is great. But then
Right.
they took this thing which traditionally trans people are very touchy about, being misgendered based on their voice, and they tied
Sure.
that to how
That's
people refer to you.
I mean, that's okay. That was probably insensitive of me the way I said that, but I mean, I'm not trying to be. It's just like you kind of can, you know what I
Right.
mean? But yeah, you can't go full like I'm non-binary, you know what I mean, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Which, yeah, and I get it would cost them money to do another set of lines instead of like he or she. Like, I understand how that could be an issue. But yeah, tying it to the voice is just a miss.
Is it more lines than, like, say, I don't know,
They'd
in
have to redo
Skyrim when they
every-
fucking will refer to you by your race? Like it's just different.
Right.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's
I
that
know
much
it's a
more.
one. I know it's a one word difference, but I don't know. There's obviously extra work put into that,
Right.
and obviously they didn't have any room for extra work because it's broken as fuck.
Right,
Alright,
dude.
Tim?
Oh man.
They had they got the budget to go in and fix it now. Can you
No
imagine
kidding,
if
no
No Man's
kidding.
Sky? Can you imagine if No Man's Sky had made this much? Like, think about all of the shit that they've done with the sales that they had, and they
Yeah.
didn't have fucking. I think the budget for Cyberpunk, I think it was reported was 120. So they're 360 million in the green right now. They have no 360 million to play with after the release of No Man's. I'll tell you that much.
No.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yo, is this CDPR's like last fucking is this their so it might wind up being a great game, but is this their Andromeda moment? Is this their Fallout 4 moment where like their next game or like say multiplayer Cyberpunk is just gonna be absolute trash?
Right. This is like what we see. We see the big studio knock it out of the park, and then their next project is like, is this what you came up with? What are you going to do now?
And then after that, it's like, oh no.
Right. Traditionally,
Like,
it's what did you do now, and then big yikes.
Like, is there a fucking Fallout 76 or goddamn what's
Anthem.
BioWare Anthem moment coming here? Like, I'm worried now. I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, unlike Skyrim, I would never want to play Cyberpunk multiplayer, like through the single player campaign. I don't think I'd ever
Like a co-op.
I don't think I'd ever want to co-op in Cyberpunk.
If I could roll around with somebody who wasn't Jacky for some of those missions, because I will
That'd be kind
say,
of cool.
I will say Jacky's kind of useless. Like I feel like the AI companion,
AI in this game is fucking garbage.
Yeah,
yeah,
they-
like yeah, it's not great.
I barely played, and yeah, Jackie's. I like his voice, but that's all he really
he's
contributes.
he's a great movie character.
I have
know what I
had
mean?
him like stand behind a wall a few times while we're in a firefight, and he's like trying to shoot, and I'm like, "Oh, Jackie, you
Into the
fucking
wall?
idiot!" Yeah, like I may have
Amazing.
I mean I've recorded a good chunk of gameplay, so I might be able to find some of that and show you guys. But yeah, Jackie's he's a character.
He's a real character. Oh, going back to customization, I don't like the piercing choices. I
Right?
look on a bigger scale, the customization is good, but why don't they let you use sliders to change things? Why do they have like 20 presets of each thing? Because this is not quite how I want my character to look, right?
Yeah, because like your like nose customization, there's no slider. Like
There are
that's
no
even
sliders.
yeah. I mean, that was
Yeah.
something that was in Oblivion for fuck's sake. Why can't
Yeah,
we
I was
have that
about to say
now?
that shit was in Skyrim. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I will say I'm a fan of presets because I don't get that into my character builds, right?
Hmm.
Like Justin said, oh, it looks like you spent 12 hours building a character. Nah, it's about 30 minutes tops. like I don't like I find something I like and then it's like I just roll with it. You know what I mean? I'm
You've
not
offended me.
Ben, you're right.
Why?
Oh my god.
Do you know what most of my time in XCOM and in
I don't want to answer.
Mordhau and
I don't
I even
Oh,
like
I know Mordhau because I
I
gave you
even
an ass ton of shit for that.
I even like I will boot up Skyrim just to create a new character sometimes. Like just to do like a new character, a new save file, a new life, and it'll be like I will put fucking time into crafting my character, and then I've got like start another life or whatever the fuck it's called, another life or whatever.
Hmm.
Start another life.
That
That's right.
yeah,
Mod.
yeah,
Mhm.
that one. So like it's completely different fucking beginning, role playing it as an Argonian, Argonian. I put time into that shit. Greyloff Goldtooth is the orc champion, and I put time into his ass. That quote. I'm so
Get that
glad this
clip
isn't
real
on my
quick.
page. Please don't. It's
We
fine.
need a
You know what I
quote system
mean.
for all of
Personal favorite.
I put time into that. What was
Um,
that?
I
Justin
understand.
and I both looked at each other.
That's great. I understand. I really like the options for the character creator specifically because they're not things that you see in other genres. Like you have all these crazy eyes that you can have. Like you've got like some like subtly cyborg eyes with like some like fancy like tiny things written in them or whatever. And then you've got like just like X out cartoon eyes, and then you've got like the spiral hypno eyes. I loved all of those things,
That's
man.
really cool.
Yeah, it's just there. Look, like I said, there's a lot of really good things in this game that are just being overshadowed by the fact that it's not polished, and it sucks. I hate it. I hate it
Frustrating.
because at the end of the day, I still enjoy my character. Like I still want to continue exploring the game, but I feel like I don't feel like I'm in the majority in that.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people speaking up, being like, "Hey, what the fuck happened?"
Right. Right. And I'll continue to play, but I did put a lot of time in. I probably have almost 30 hours in that game already because I did the little cheat on Wednesday. Made mine time zone New Zealand on my
Oh
mouse.
yeah, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, so I started playing at like noon on Wednesday,
Mm.
and
Dude,
so but I wanted to, I specifically for this I wanted to put enough time into it where I could give it a fair shake, because it is such a monumental release, like it really is. So I
Mhm.
just wanted to have an educated opinion at least, you
I
know.
I was
So
chatting with Holmes, and we were talking about Cyberpunk, and he was looking at like everyone's libraries to see who had it, and he was like, "Oh, Cody got it. Wait, how the fuck is he playing that?" The magic of VPN.
Yeah. The
yeah,
amount of people who did that is amazing. I saw an article on it about like the day that it was releasing. I think it was GameSpot, which by the way, I totally get her review now. Um, I don't know if you guys saw that, but like they put out a thing about how to do that. They're like, a lot of people are playing
Oh.
Cyberpunk early. Here's how. But when they put out their review, the reviewer gave it a 7 out of 10, and she was in a video review. And like at first, when she was talking about it, I actually saw agree or disagree with a lot of what he says. I saw a video from the quartering, who will fucking leave that for what it is, but where he was like, "How the fuck didn't you do this or this or this?" Because she said she didn't really use the crafting system. She didn't really do much of the side content. She didn't. And then I started playing the game, and then I was like, "Oh, I fucking get that now," because I have not used the crafting system.
Yeah.
And I had to figure out the melee system, and I had to force myself to start doing side content because I was just, like I said earlier,
Also,
A, B, C, D.
you can abuse the fuck out of the crafting. Okay, this is something else for me. All right, and this has bugged the shit out of me. Why the fuck isn't there a goodbye option in any of the conversations? Any of them. It's such a.
It is
I know
weird.
I'm super hyped about this, but like when you go and talk to people, and then you use your conversation options, there's no like, "I see ya." You just walk away.
Right.
Like it's so weird. But there's no like, "All right, bye."
Yeah,
Or
like
till
you
we
can't
meet again.
back out from the middle
No.
of the
And then I'm just
conversation.
like, because I'm so I mean, and maybe this is like an old school thing for me, but I'm so used to like being in a conversation and not being able to leave it until I say deuces,
Mhm.
like Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout, all of it. All of it.
Yeah.
It always has a goodbye option in the conversations or like exit conversation, right? You know,
Dude,
if you're
I
about to
don't
go in
think
listen.
The
combat,
Witcher did.
Nobody in 2077 has time for goodbyes, okay? We
right?
live
Like
very busy
I
lives.
it's a quality of life thing. It really is.
I don't
But
think
like,
The Witcher had any goodbyes.
yeah, dude.
I don't think I'd have to go back and replays or and check it because like I don't remember.
Well, some of it's not even goodbye, it'd just be like exit. Like if there's
Yeah,
at least a
An
thing where you're like, all
option.
right, this conversation, yeah, there's like this conversation's over.
yeah.
Because like,
I think they were in
dude,
their head. They were just like, yeah, you can just walk away. It's like okay, that's cool, but I'd like to be able to
Like,
not do it. Like getting off the
I'd like
phone
to
in a
not
movie. Bring the money.
just
right.
another
Like
thing that
it's
maybe they didn't explain well.
I almost
Hello.
forgot to talk about that, and that's why I got so mad. But it has bothered me. That has bothered the shit out of me. And it's such a tiny detail. It's so tiny. It could literally be the same option, the same goodbye option with everybody. I wouldn't care. But like it's not there and it bugs the shit out of me.
Ooh.
Like, oh man.
What is
I
your
don't know.
guys' favorite in-game advertisement that you have seen?
Oh my god. I took a picture of it earlier.
Um,
Actually, have you seen the commercial for like it's the horror show?
No,
It's
I
like
haven't
some
seen that one.
it's like
yeah.
masculine horror. And I'm and they're like his mission is to please you in any way possible or some shit like that. And it's literally some dude in like a fucking latex suit with a big ass fucking boner. And it's super funny. I was like, what in the fuck
Yeah,
is happening? Like
There's a
everything is
neon
so
sign.
sexualized.
There's a neon sign that says "fuck to death," and it has like I
Oh
was
my
like
god.
I screenshotted it because I was like, "Excuse me."
Dude, I just want to scroll through like the screenshots on Steam to see all the crazy advertisements that I haven't seen yet. I think my favorite one so far has been, have you seen the bottoms up one?
Mm.
It's just like a movie poster, and the bottom portion is just like a woman's ass coming up from below, and then from behind her this guy's head pops up,
Oh,
and it's
my
animated.
God.
there's one I took a picture of this and all right, first there's one that I saw running around today. It was a dude holding like a fucking tequila bottle looking thing, but the caption was real water.
Yeah, and
I
it's
was
like
like, what?
$99 per gallon.
Yeah, dude, I was like, what the
Oh my
There's
god.
another one though that's called Wide Open, and the picture is also of a woman's ass, and it's animated, and there's a snake
Oh, the
that's going
snake.
around her leg and like
Right.
into her ass. And I was like,
I saw that one as well.
I was like,
Oh my
what?
god. Yeah,
It's so sexualized all over the place, dude. It's wild.
yeah, it's hard to say
Oh,
whether it's just like, oh, it's so extreme that it's almost on the verge of bad taste, the level of parody of this horrible future they've created. Oh, that's not
Um,
gonna work.
I feel like it's pretty. It's real. Oh, I will say this: like, I've never played Cyberpunk tabletop. Haven't
Neither
I
done
have
it.
don't think any of us have.
But in anticipation for Cyberpunk, I looked up a lot of like the lore and stuff, and I will say a lot of this is very true to the lore, very true to the world that was built through the tabletop and through
Mm.
that universe. It's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Especially some of this stuff that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking accurate. I can't
Yeah.
lie.
The few media things I've gotten into that are cyberpunk themed, I think definitely align with where Cyberpunk 2077 is at. It doesn't feel out of place with those.
Yep, and look, we didn't even talk about the Joy Toy shops. Haven't been to one yet, but I'll probably go to one eventually just to see what the fuck it's about.
Oh my
You know what I
god.
mean? Like,
Oh,
it's just
so there's there's this weapon I got. It's a single-handed blunt object,
I can imagine.
a
and
dildo.
I got a dildo, a legendary dildo,
Oh,
because
God.
I slept with. I won't spoil who you gotta sleep with for it, but like, there's this
That's fun.
chick. There's this chick you come across on the storyline, and she's a real hard ass, and she's not very nice to you, but you can hit her up after you're done interacting with her, and you can get a legendary fucking dildo.
So, hey, the way legendary weapons work, right? Those are the ones that you can continue to upgrade, and
Correct.
they can be useful for the entire game.
So not
I think
legendary.
that's iconic. Yeah, it's
Iconic,
not
okay.
just the legendary ones. It has to have iconic too. So legendary can be iconic. I think all legendaries are iconic, but they're
Okay.
different things.
Sure.
No,
my legendary pistol that I bought from the shop it's a Unity. It's not iconic.
oh,
Okay.
So,
I thought that was
actually,
cool
the
though. Just having these iconic weapons that you can continue to level
Oh,
up.
yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Well, see, but that goes back to the crafting system that's never fucking explained,
Right.
right? And I was gonna get into this earlier before I remember about the dialogue thing. You can abuse the fuck out of the crafting system, right? Because you can just make med kits basically.
you don't
healer.
have to.
Oh.
Though.
No, you
Dude,
don't
they're
have
everywhere,
to, but
too.
it's
Like
super
they're
exploitable.
so everywhere. I think I have like 45 of them in my inventory right now. And I play on the hardest. I play on the hardest difficulty.
I'm playing on normal.
I did play. I'm playing on hard. I'm not playing on. So I'm right. Look.
I have 100 of them.
Diversifying. You have 100. That doesn't surprise me. I had 30 at one point. But I think the difference is, Tim, do you snipe a lot? You think? That's probably part of.
No, I'm more sneak with my pistol. The sniper I honestly only use when I'm like, especially playing on the hardest difficulty. They will fuck your ass up real quick if you're not like very tactical about your approach to a lot of situations. So I really only break the sniper out if there's a group of enemies and I'm gonna start the engagement from a long distance away. And even then, it doesn't stay out because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick off one or two of them, and then I'm gonna close the gap and bust out my pistol and start shooting.
Question. Are you guys playing like little loot goblins? I'm constantly using my scanner and picking up everything I find.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, I there's a way that you can, when you get a little further, there's a way you can ping stuff in the environment, so you can just like you don't have to scan everything.
just
It'll
like,
do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I do that before like every engagement because it'll also highlight enemies and stuff, so I know where everybody is.
I'm glad it's not just me because I'm picking up all this garbage and I'm like, am I
Yeah, but
wasting my
the
time?
thing- No. The thing about the garbage is you go to those little sell points. You can sell it, and it actually you can sell it for like a couple $1,000s. I was at one point actually before I bought my pistol. I had like $60,000
Wow.
just from doing missions and run around and doing whatever, right? And it was and then I bought that pistol. It was like 30,000 by itself, and I bought a bunch of like upgrade components and stuff or whatever. But yeah, man. Um, I, going back to the crafting system, something else that isn't explained for the crafting system is that the way you get your crafting items outside of just breaking down like weapons and shit is by doing the jack-in option. For it's a little hacking mini game that also isn't explained very well. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, dude. There's a bunch of shit. Even some of the stuff that has tutorials wasn't explained that well. It's just I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of missteps along the way.
But I still have fun. That's for me. I do still have fun.
Yeah.
I will say that. As much
I
as I've shit on it over the past half hour, I do have fun with the game. But
I
I wouldn't
feel
recommend it to anybody right now.
I feel like this game is the game I wanted to play after I was done playing Fallout 3.
Probably.
It's perfect. It's perfect
It
for
reminds
me.
me a lot of Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Which is the only other game outside of Ghost of Tsushima. Outer Worlds is the only other game I finished all of 2020. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that.
So,
Any other thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077?
play it in 6 months if you haven't played it yet. Best advice I got.
I'll probably play hundreds of hours over it over the next 6 months, so I'm not the best person to ask. I love it. It's good. It's broken, but what the bones of it are amazing. That sounds familiar. I said that about Fallout 76.
The curse.
It's better than 76. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that 76 is as good. I'm just saying those are the exact same things I said about. I'm hearing myself say, okay, that's probably a bad sign for Cody because I'm saying the same thing I said about Fallout 76.
Yep.
So there are like a billion things that I put in there for the world premieres they showed off at the Game Awards. Are there any of those that you guys want to touch on before we cut and run?
Why the fuck is Arc 2 a thing?
Tim,
And
oh
why
my
the
God.
fuck is
Diesel
Vin
in Arc?
Diesel in it?
You need to watch it because it was the weirdest thing ever.
Oh, I watched it.
Isn't that nuts? Like what?
I don't understand.
What am I watching? What do you mean?
I posted
Arc?
about
What?
it I posted about it in the chat when I saw it. I was like, what the? At first, a lot of people were like, Turok 3? Vin Diesel? I'm all about it. I was like,
Right.
Turok?
Sure.
I was like, I don't think this is Turok, guys. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I don't think it's Turok. And then I saw as soon as I saw her wrist,
The
I was
chip,
like, what the
yeah.
fuck?
Oh my God, dude, that was nuts.
I literally was like,
lost it.
what? I was sitting in the hallway. I was like, Arc 2? And my wife was working. She came out in the hallway. She goes, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "It's fine."
Oh my God.
You're like, everything's fine.
I have
Yeah.
so many
I
questions
was like,
about it.
why is Vin Diesel here? I don't understand.
Vin Diesel is
Hey,
going to
I
be the
will.
boss of Arc 2.
I'll give Arc props because that game was also an insane buggy mess when it first came out. And now they have enough money to have fucking Vin Diesel in it.
And now they have
Like-
enough money not to optimize this one and make a second one.
It's
Oh,
still an
so it's
insane.
Destiny?
It's better than when it first came out. It runs. It's still an insane buggy mess, but it runs. Whereas it didn't run when it first came out.
I remember because I bought it. Jurassic Park had just come out, the reboot. and I
Oh.
was like, I'm so excited. I played
Mm.
all of like 2 hours of Arc, and I was like, never again.
Arc
Guys,
is
do I
like a
just
way of
love-
life.
Do I just love buggy ass
Yes.
games? Is that
Yeah.
because
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a
Yes.
shit ton of time at Arc. I'm loving Cyberpunk. My most played game is Arma 3.
And yet he won't play Grounded.
He has
You
nothing
guys,
to say to that.
You guys stop playing Grounded.
It's a buggy
You
game,
can't
dude.
play Grounded by yourself. I played Grounded by myself.
I mean, I could, but isn't that kind
and
of defeat the
Justin's also
purpose?
trying to make a joke here.
Thank you.
He's not,
Justin,
Thank
he's
you
not
so
making a
much.
joke. He's making a point, and he's right.
I mean, he's doing both
Shut up.
because it's a buggy mess. And Grounded's all about bugs. We got to go there.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Arc making crazy
Think about
moves.
What was I gonna say? Justin, we need to go get eaten by fish.
Pardon?
Fish are apparently now in Grounded, and they will eat you.
Oh, sick.
Oh, okay.
Apparently,
That's
also with
exciting.
water spiders,
I
like
bet there's a
spiders
lot of
under the
new
water.
materials.
right? Because we haven't played it in like 6 months.
Yep. One of my ARC buddies finally said to me, Justin, when the day comes, will you teach me the ways of Grounded? And I said, yes. I will show
Yeah,
you the
so
way
yeah.
to the hidden bee armor.
The hidden bee. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Run!
God, that was awesome.
That was good stuff.
Super fun.
The only other thing I would probably say is that about all that stuff. Dark Tide. I'm sorry, I'm not excited at all.
Why?
It's reskinned Vermintide.
Quit playing Vermintide and get
And?
excited.
I didn't end up liking Vermintide.
Guardsman.
I wouldn't say I didn't like Vermintide. I just didn't find it. Like it didn't hold my attention.
Because you didn't play with us, bitch.
I mean, I didn't
Better
play
with
y'all.
friends.
I did play it with people. I played it with my cousin and whatnot, and I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm not really into that Left 4 Dead style game.
Sure.
Right? You know what I mean? Where
Right.
it's
There's
just
not a
like-
lot of depth to it.
right. And when they try to put depth to it, it's weird.
Mm.
You know, like it's just odd. I will say I do like the fact that they got like the Augurin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they got like the Priest of Sigmar type deal going on, or well, it'd be the
Right.
Emperor. You know what I mean?
Looks so good.
You
Yeah,
got
like
so
the-
diverse.
of a cast. You gotta play as a caster.
Oh my
cash.
god.
Yeah, they got I do like that aspect. I like the characters and stuff, but when I started showing the gameplay, I was like,
Sure.
it's not. Maybe when it's half off or something. I have so many other games to play with Game Pass and shit though. Now it's just like wow.
Right.
Like,
Me
I
and
just
Tim
don't
will
think
play
I'll-
that one.
Yeah,
I'll play the fuck out of that one.
You know what I hope about after seeing that footage? That makes me want to see what the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance game is going to turn out like. Because they could definitely go that route of like a Fat Shark style first person kind of thing with more RPG
mind.
elements somehow.
I wouldn't necessarily mind the first person, but I wouldn't want the horde mentality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather it still be more of like 4 or 5 mobs here, 4 or 5 mobs there, like
Right.
exploring dungeon, Skyrim-esque, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I feel like,
Exploring
dude,
dungeons.
they could take all of those games that were that style, the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, Lord of the Rings, they could redo those as like first person, a little more actiony. Yeah.
Right.
Dude, I really do think that the Fat Shark style is going to lend itself more to 40K with the gunplay
Yeah.
than it did with Vermintide. I think Vermintide was a cool attempt, but I think that game fits in 40K better anyway. So I'm excited.
I don't know,
Vermintide,
the Ogren's gun only has 1 bullet.
it's got a
Fucking
knife on it.
grenade launcher. And you're
I think it's-
fucking
I think-
Ogren.
I love
think
the
it's
point
actually-
of view from the Ogren.
Oh yeah, the point of view. You're so tall and you're just
Yeah.
looking down. Like I'm not saying that they're doing bad with like that direction and stuff. This is not my type of game.
Hmm.
The only other thing I did want to say
You'll
is,
buy it anyway or play it on Game Pass.
I hope it. Oh yeah, it will be on Game Pass. I'll just play it on Game Pass.
Hell yeah.
I'll
you
probably. I
will.
won't have to spend no money on it. Mass Effect and Fortnite, or not Mass Effect. Master Chief.
Master
and Fortnite.
Chief.
Good PR for them.
Yep.
Especially with the delay all the way until next fall kind of thing. But with the way Cyberpunk came out, look, take all the time you need. Also, since it's not coming out until 2021, just go ahead and cut out all the old consoles. Let's get rid of
Just do it. Hell yeah,
it. Just
dude.
do it. Just do it.
Assuming that anybody can buy a Series X by March.
God.
March. It's not coming out till fall. You're looking at
Fall.
October.
I thought
next
it
year.
was
Fall
whatever.
2021.
Okay, fall.
Yeah.
By the time you can buy an Xbox or one of the new graphics cards, the new graphics cards will be coming out.
Right.
That's true.
I did want to, while we're on Halo, I just wanted to say, did you guys look at those multiplayer screenshots that they posted?
Great. Looks awesome.
I'm really happy with it. I feel like, to me, Halo 5 is really ugly. I hate how the Spartans look in Halo 5 and pretty much Halo 4 as well. But all the pictures they showed of player Spartans, I thought looked wonderful. Very Spartan-y.
Yes.
Very good.
Looks good. I like the aesthetic a lot.
I refuse to get excited about screenshots. Show me gameplay, or I won't believe it.
Believe what?
That's fair.
Believe that they look like Spartans?
Well, like they look fine, but I just mean like in terms of enjoyability for the game. I
Well,
wanna
yeah, I'm
see
not
what it
saying
looks like.
anything about that.
I mean,
I
I think
know, I just, like,
I think the only doubt at this point is whether or not the campaign will be good. The multiplayer is still going to be good for Halo.
It always has been, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always at least been decent. So the only thing we're worried about is what's the campaign going to be. Everything else is going to be fine
Mm-hmm.
because everything else has been fine. It's just the campaign that 343 has failed to hit on, and hopefully they can fix it this time.
Well,
I
here's the
don't
thing.
blame you for not being hyped. I don't blame you. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not-
no, I will eventually get hyped for it, I'm sure. But right now, I'm like, don't trust that studio. They're trying to do an open world game. We just talked about, like, if there is one genre of game that is prone to bugginess and brokenness, other than live service games. Even a single player version, it's open world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many moving parts in open world games. There's so many different mechanics that have to be in play all of the time. It's so easy to break it. And 343 hasn't shown me. Well, their games have been functional, so maybe it won't be buggy as fuck. But will it be good? Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Good luck to them. I don't have a lot of faith.
Fair.
Anything else catch your eye?
I mean, there's Mass Effect, but
Yeah, we kind of already. I mean,
I
think
will
that's
say
talking about
that's
Mass Effect.
definitely Shep's thing, and that was definitely Liara. So like, it looks like they're going back to that bunch, or at least Liara, and like, what the fuck was the point of Andromeda and the trilogy they were going to do there then? Because that's dead apparently, which is probably good after the way Andromeda happened. But
I like how they say will continue, even though we don't even know what the fuck's happening with Dragon Age and whether that studio is even gonna be open.
yeah,
Like, I'm not hyped for anything. Like, it's cool, but I
BioWare.
I swear to God that they could easily close if Dragon Age fails. So I'm not getting excited for any of that. Nope.
Yep.
Anything else?
I could talk about all of them. On Mass Effect, I did like this theory that Andrea had where so Mass Effect 3 had the ending. Players could choose different things. So if this next game is going to come after that, that's going to be a fucking mess and people will hate it. Her theory is Liara is picking up Shepard's little armor thing when he died, or he or she died originally before they were resuscitated, you know? So her idea is that it will take place during the events of the original trilogy, but you'll see other things going on.
Isn't that between 1 and 2?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I haven't played those in a long time.
Trying to think how I feel about that.
I think it would be
Probably
the safest thing for them
Probably
to do.
good.
You know
I
what
think
I
that's
would
probably a good call.
I would just want him to go crazy. Liara is gonna go back in time and save Shep.
Oh my god.
That's what it's gonna
They're
be.
gonna Mortal Kombat it.
Yep. Look,
Timelines.
Liara is picking up that this is like 100 years. I don't know how long these fucking Asaris live. This is like 50 years later, and she's like picking it up, and she's like, "Bitch, I'm coming to save you." And then she goes back in time and saves his ass before the end of the events of 3.
I don't think I can handle talking about time travel, and my brain's just on Final Fantasy VII right now. Not to spoil anything, but there's some wild theories that I really hate.
Look, if I'm going down swinging. I'm going down crazy. Right? That's all I'm saying. There's nothing safe about it. I'm either hitting this fucking shit to the moon, or I'm dead, basically.
You're calling your shot.
Yep, that's where BioWare's at.
Yeah, definitely.
Good luck to him.
All right, closing thoughts, boys.
Tim? Play more games.
Play more Cyberpunk.
Ooh, there you go.
I do think that game's going to get better the more you play it. I really think that it's a game that like the more you invest in it, the more you explore it, the more you do in it, the more you go further in the storyline and then out into the world. I do think that it will grow on you in spite of its problems. Like Cody said though, if you're a person who's very averse to buggy games, maybe give it a few patches.
Hold on. Tim, the person who won't give anime 3 episodes, but will give a buggy game 30 hours.
Yeah, I definitely will.
That's fucked
if
up.
I find it
That's
interesting.
fucked up.
It's the same thing as I said before. If I find it interesting, I'm in. If it doesn't hook me, I'm out. There are plenty of games that I play that don't hook me that I'm like, all right, I'm done. Never pick them up again. And they're just in my Steam library, and I look like an idiot for buying them. I get refunded. I'm fucking stupid.
Oh, man.
Also, I have a problem. I don't like passively consuming content. I like actively consuming content. And so if I have to passively be watching something to be absorbed in it, if it doesn't hook me, I'm done.
Sure.
Like, so like the Mandalorian, I'm prone to get hooked on because I'm already a nerd about Star Wars. I already read all this stuff, play all the games. Like I'm fucking
Please
all
get
about
caught
it.
up.
Me?
I'm hoping to this weekend.
Everyone.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's my closing thought. That's my closing thought.
Justin, I know you want to rant here, so I'm gonna let you rant.
I'm
Or
not
at
going to
least-
rant. I have so much more I would like to talk about, but I will just say Sephiroth in Smash Bros. But
Yeah.
also fuck Nintendo, hashtag free melee.
That's
Free
true.
melee. Yep.
Yeah, I don't
Some
know.
bullshit. We didn't even touch on that.
No.
We'll
Too
talk
much
about it
news.
next week. I think
We're at 2
next week.
hours.
Yeah, next week we'll talk about how Nintendo needs to just get the
Next
fuck
week-
out of their own way.
Yeah.
Next week's game week, boys.
All right, then the weekend.
Next week
We'll
after
get to
that's
it.
Christmas.
All right.
We need
Next time
This
Nintendo
month-
fucks up.
This month we'll talk about how they just need to get the fuck out of their own way. Yeah, I don't think. Are we doing a Christmas show? We're not doing a Christmas show.
See,
Good.
look, I was just gonna say we need to talk about that off stream. But anyways, fuck, what gonna say. If you have Cyberpunk, play it. If you have it, if you don't have it, wait 6 months. That's where I'm at. So that's my closing thought. There's still plenty of shit to play in the meantime. Play Dragon Quest 11 on Game Pass.
Play every
Because
game on
it's-
Game Pass. Oh,
Dragon Quest
play
11 is
literally
a really-
all the Yakuza games on Game Pass now.
Oh my god, yeah.
I said I was like, I think they're all on Game Pass. I spoke
They
it
are
into
now.
existence.
Yep, you brought
I
it in.
spoke it into existence.
That was one of my
this is-
favorite parts of the awards.
This is the trend that Microsoft's been doing. If you see a game go on sale on the Microsoft Store, it's probably coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't buy Greedfall because it's on Game Pass and I can play
I'm
it.
glad I
Yeah,
didn't buy Control.
That's so many games. So many
Yeah.
good games that I am excited to
so-
try.
Yeah, there's so many games that you can play while you wait for Cyberpunk to fix its shit. Dragon Quest 11, Greedfall. I put a decent amount of time into. You got the whole Yakuza series coming to the fucking system. Like other than 7, right?
There's
other
some
than
that aren't on there.
Or whatever the latest one is. I don't think
Like a
the-
Like a
Dragon?
Dragon.
Yeah,
That's
Like
the
a
only
Dragon.
one that's not there yet, but I think it's coming
I'm sure it will.
because
I
it
mean,
just
yeah.
released like a month ago, so they'll probably give it another month or two and then put it on Game Pass. But if they came to an agreement with Sega to put, because it's Sega, right? Sega publishes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. So they've come to many agreements with Sega lately, and I'm pretty sure Like a Dragon will be on there within probably sometime next quarter when its sales die down a bit.
Once they announce that Microsoft is buying Sega, and they announce the new Sonic game,
It was coming.
New Sonic movie.
yo, I'm ready for that.
Right.
Did you watch the first one?
Oh yeah,
Oh, it's so good. I loved it.
great. It was the last movie I saw in theaters before the pandemic.
Me too.
All right, boys. We're gonna call it a night because it's already midnight. So, love you.
Goodbye, everybody.
We'll see you next week. Bye.